Today on the Brian Sotosky podcast, we're going to sip tea and read books. You know I'm just going to be an asshole on this podcast, right?
That's totally fine. That's actually our opening statement.
We're just going to be assholes.
Wes just kicked off the podcast.
Welcome to the Unbranded, On-Brand, whatever the hell we are podcast. I don't know what our name is yet. It's like an awkward first date. Just hopefully we get lucky at the end.
I think we just,
I'd be stoked with first base, bro.
What is first base on a podcast? iTunes syndication? Is that what's that?
Something like that. Oh, by the way, I found out that my podcast ended up publishing via Apple iTunes, the Apple Podcasts and stuff. But the funny thing with Anchor is that it didn't notify me. So I've been like Anchor. Waiting for weeks. No, it's great. Like it notified me about everything else. It's super fast. It gets my episodes out there. But for whatever reason, and I've had trouble with Apple syndication before with other podcast platforms. But yeah, I think it's just something where they don't communicate well with different systems and things like that. I think it's just an older RSS feed kind of thing that Apple's got going on.
I know it takes like a week or two to get approved, and then that's where then from now on it should be up like within 20 minutes.
It's up. The thing is, it never notified me, so it had been up for quite a few weeks, and so I just had to manually add it into the thing. But Anchor did all of the job pushing it out there, so it was good. Yeah. I didn't have to set it up. I didn't have to get approved by Apple or nothing. It was just working.
Well, I guess I'll have to get the Anchor app just so I can listen to us, so I can hear myself.
No, you don't have to have the Anchor app to listen to us. It'll be on Spotify. Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, the Anchor app itself isn't a podcast listening app. It's just
you can't listen to them on there.
No, it's a distribution app.
See, I don't even know. I've never even.
It's like GarageBand, basically.
I thought it was like a social network for podcasting, so you could listen to your friends, but also make them. I didn't know that.
No, yeah.
Well, never mind. I don't want Anchor. What the hell?
Don't sponsor us, Anchor. Don't ban us.
No, they can sponsor us. Bring us some money.
You know what's funny is that actually within my first week of this is my Anchor plug right now. Within my first week of jumping on Anchor, there were already sponsors jumping on and interested in having advertising spots. So it's just like notified me
for that, like YouTube.
Kind of, but the thing is you record, I guess, the advertisements with your own voice, and then you choose where you want it to show up in the episode. So you tell them, insert these ads or whatever, and then I don't know exactly how the payment model works, but very interesting stuff.
Well, if they'll pay us, they can put their ad anywhere they want to put it.
Yeah, anywhere. Front, beginning, middle, and throughout the whole series. We can put up 10 ads on a 20-minute podcast for all I
Yeah, dude. 10 ads on a 10-minute podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
Pay me money, bro.
That COVID life. I'll just wear your ad as a shirt, Anchor.
Yeah.
Just pay me.
Leon Bridges, he's great. Listen to him. Anyway, we should probably introduce ourselves, being that this is the first episode. I'm sure people will be like, who the hell are these idiots, and why should I listen to them if I don't know who they are?
These three old guys.
You know what, Wes? I think that's a brilliant idea. It seems like you've been podcasting much longer than me. How about you go first?
Well, my big old beautiful beard. Name is Wes. I go on social media accounts by Westifer. You can find me on Instagram at Westifer. You can find me on YouTube at Westifer. You can find me on Twitter at Wes Hodge because someone stole Westifer. And I'm still pissed off about it 10 years later. So who's next?
For our audience, whoever's listening, these poor souls, what is it that you do that is in relation to marketing?
Right now I do ads. I also do content creation, but I would say as far as marketing goes, ads are my forte. specifically on Facebook, but also messaging, I would say.
Neat.
I'm really good at saying design is good or bad, but I'm not really good at making it. I can make your photo and I can make your video, and I make them damn well.
Very good. Very good. What would you say is the biggest problem that you've encountered in marketing or advertising? And how do you solve that?
Damn, this is getting hard. Heavy.
All right.
Quick.
Right from the jump, man.
Damn.
This isn't the first date, Brian. You're going deep, bro. This is like
I know. This is third date in. We've already had dinner.
I don't really think brands or most companies know how to get their message out. And they're not supposed to, because they're supposed to spend their time and energy on building the products that we use, right? But they're not thinking about marketing, and I think because they're not thinking about marketing, no one's going to know their product exists, and so that's where we come in. But unfortunately, now that I'm back in freelance world, like I have to be a salesman too. So to try and convince someone, hey, you need marketing, that poses its own problem, but that's not the question you asked. But yeah,
no, it's good. No, I think that's an interesting philosophical idea. Maybe brands shouldn't have to do their own marketing and messaging. I know some voices would say, you know, you should be responsible. You should be the person talking. But, you know, I know that there's, businesses and brands out there where their strengths are probably focusing on things like cash flow or product development and stuff like that, and way not
like the big business problems. Yeah.
All right. How about you, young gentleman? Introduce yourself.
Young. Thanks, B.
Oh,
I'm
uncle.
like I'm one step away from 40, bro.
Bro, you're like the oldest one in this room.
I know I am, man.
But you're the youngest looking one.
And yet he is not aged.
Well, I go by Titus of all time across all social platforms. I have a marketing company called No Shame Media. You can find us at No Shame Media across all platforms, including YouTube. We also have a podcast that we haven't touched in probably, 2 years or so. That one's the No Shame Podcast. But in relation to marketing, we're a small digital marketing agency, full service. But I primarily focus on building funnels, social media management and strategy, and also, like Wes, running ads, specifically Facebook and Instagram.
What would you say the biggest issue that a lot of brands encounter when trying to create like a funnel or sales funnel for their company? And how do you help that?
I think a lot of it is switching the headspace of a landing page from it being a website to a funnel. Like guiding the customer or the client down the path that they only need one call to action. And then as the funnel develops, as the customer goes deeper down the journey, that's when you can offer more services and tell more about your story. But that's kind of a hard switch for most businesses to wrap their head around. They're like, I need a navigation bar, I need a bio, I need an about us. We need to.
Companies think they need every single thing to cover the real estate on those web pages.
Amen, bro. Amen.
You don't need but like 2% of the things you think you need on there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, Titus, I think you brought up an interesting thing is, switching away from kind of like a traditional website and into more of a kind of step-by-step. Could you break down, for the people who've never heard of a sales funnel before, what is that?
Sorry. Wait, let me put my watch on mute. We can leave this in, right?
Bro, you're so busy. Why you get?
No, I mean the notification didn't come up. You're good.
Okay, sorry. What was the question again?
Oh, he's not wearing pants.
Yeah, I'm not wearing pants. Look at this.
The question was, for the people who are listening and have never really heard of a sales funnel before, can you kind of explain what it, very simply, what is a sales funnel?
It is a one-page website that is a landing page that has a single call to action that guides the customer to whatever action you want them to take, whether that is entering your information or buying a product or downloading a free ebook. That is the first step of an online sales funnel.
If you're paying for ads, then that's your ad's best friend.
Yes.
And why would you say that, Wes?
Because if you're doing a digital ad, you got to have someone go somewhere, right? So if I've enticed you enough to come click on my ad, you better land somewhere that's going to make you want to buy.
And how is that different than Wes? If you were to point an ad towards a sales funnel rather than a website, how is that different? Why is that better?
Because a sales funnel is engineered in a way to guide the customer to exactly what they want, rather than make them hunt around every little bit of information that's not needed to create a sale. If they want to know later on the history of your company, sure, they'll go search for it. But most of the time, the problem that people have isn't your history. The problem someone has it will be taken care of by the solution you created for them.
Right. So, does my product or service solve the problem that the customer has?
Right. By the way, we don't know who you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why are you asking us questions?
We haven't even.
I think
bio.
I think
I
think it's important for people to really jump right in and get some value from the beginning. But I don't know
who you are.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of my history and about me. We'll start when I grew up in diapers in Southern California. Automatically, my audience just
never heard
out.
This one before.
I just checked out.
Wes just checked out. But unfortunately, that's how people build websites, So my name's Brian Switalski. I run a consulting business out here in Hawaii. We focus on marketing, a lot of digital marketing and copywriting for a lot of great brands out here and on the mainland. And I really focus on clarifying people's words so that people will be able to listen and take action on websites, sales funnels, emails, all of that kind of stuff.
So when you say words, you mean copywriting for the people who don't know what copywriting is.
Yeah, I mean copywriting. And so that's really the words that are going to cause people to buy things.
Yeah.
And not copywriting as in like TM or the little C symbol. It's copy as in the sense of words. So, a lot of brands will start out, talking with a web designer and stuff, and they'll go, okay, we want this to look like this and this and that. And the web designer comes back and they come up with the wireframe and it looks beautiful, but there's a bunch of lorem ipsum, little bunch of nonsense Latin words chunked together. And they're like, where's all of the words? And the web designer's like, I wasn't hired for words. And they weren't, and they really shouldn't be hired for words. But it's frustrating for clients to, hire a web developer thinking that they were going to get a website kind of done for them. And so that's kind of the piece that I play is I actually work with those words. I actually start with that first and then go into things like web design and emails, all of that kind of stuff. But without the right words, you just can't really sell anything, because words are really the reason why people buy anything. And everything's going back to words these days. Even, videos that we're, watching on, on Facebook and stuff. It's all captions, words, and stuff that we're watching. We're watching those videos on mute.
I use captions just because I'm half deaf, but.
Well, there's that too.
Wait,
it helps half deaf people like us.
Excuse me,
Uncle Titus.
Wait, what?
Put the captions on.
Speak up.
Put the captions on. You can read them.
Takes too long to dictate.
That's why Facebook and YouTube will do it for you.
So speaking of which, it sounds like Facebook is getting a bunch of companies that are pulling out of their ads and ad spending out online. What do you think is the future of Facebook? What are they doing? and how can smart marketing and smart brands adapt to a world where, the platform's kind of questionable in terms of tracking and all this kind of stuff.
Well, here's my immediate
Frank.
thought. Go ahead, Titus.
No, I was going to ask, where did this article come from? And could you add a little more color to this article? Like, what do you mean big brands are pulling out?
Yeah, so there's a list of big advertisers, like companies like Coca-Cola and other companies like that have decided to kind of boycott Facebook by pulling all of their advertising dollars off of the platform.
Both platforms, Instagram too?
All of the Facebook ad bids. Yep.
Can you say why?
Because Facebook has, from what I understand, is because Facebook has has been kind of neutral in terms of their policies about some political things, and have allowed certain content on the platform. And these advertisers have decided that they don't like certain people being able to post things freely, and because of that, they're pulling their ad dollars. Similarly, this happened a while back with YouTube. Actually, certain brands were boycotting YouTube, but that was
so they're basically boycotting Google.
Back a few years ago.
Well, here's how
still around.
Well, here's how I look at it. I know that was happening, and my ads are super cheap right now. And I don't know if that has anything to do with all these big brands out of the space for competition for my ads. But I'm talking about, like, I'm getting ads like down to like 9 cents per click. And I'm like, you can't get that anywhere. And I haven't been able to get that on Facebook for the last 5 years. So, like, I mean, for me as a freelancer without any ties to that and still needing to eat bread during COVID, then I'm all for it. You big guys leave so the ads are cheaper.
So that's what happens. You see this as a bit of an opportunity for brands to really be able to take advantage of
I don't have to compete
very
for
cheap advertising.
Absolutely.
100%. I'm with you.
Because at the end of the day, I got to eat. Those companies got billions and trillions of dollars that I ain't got.
Yep.
So I'm the little guy. I need to eat. So bye.
Yeah, if you take out their tens of millions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars, that just drives the price down for cost per impression. Like, yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day, every day, because it's not like the platform's going anywhere. No. Instagram and Facebook are here for a decade, maybe 10.
Yeah.
So,
it's interesting.
And not only that, I'm a big proponent for free speech. So I'm a big proponent for free speech, but secondly, I'm a big proponent to private entities being able to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Sure. Yeah.
This is America.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. That's their kind of free speech.
I may not agree with you, but I will fight for you to have that ability to say it.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah. I think that's kind of the interesting thing about social media, right? Is that it really allows anybody to have a platform. Whereas before, you'd have to go up on a media news channel and everything like that, and be kind of pre-qualified in order to speak and everything like that, jump through a couple hoops or be a somebody. And now, somebody in the middle of nowhere can have an opinion about things that goes viral, which is really quite amazing, especially with tools, the next leap of virality with TikTok is just insane, right? Like, people's videos just having fun and goofing off, exploding exponentially, like overnight. Some people start out with like a couple hundred people following them, and then the next day it's 200 million. I just saw one of the TikToker people post that, and literally their account, it's just it was dead. And then overnight, it wasn't like they hacked the system or had some kind of viral strategy or anything like that. They just posted something and it took off.
Yeah. My business partner started his TikTok account based around like, positivity, like energy healing, some kind of woo-woo stuff. But he had a video go to 500,000 views. He's already at like 30,000 followers in a month, and he only does one video a day.
Yep.
One video a day, and it's nothing overproduced. It's just talking head lists, 5 things, top 3 this. Insane. But he's kind of tweaking. He's playing with the algorithm because he does lives, and he says the days that he does lives, if it's at a certain time, I believe he said like 6 Eastern, he gets the most traction with his other posts.
That's interesting. So, 6 Eastern.
Where you can do live on TikTok. I deleted my TikTok app because it's a dangerous app for me.
Or because of China. App. You don't want China to be tracking your activity.
I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but
the amount of data that they're pulling is most definitely like it's crazy.
It's also dangerous for my mind and my time.
My mental health, it's bad, bro. Like 2 hours later. That's why they fucking call it TikTok, because it's like, oh man, it's 3 a.m.
That's why Titus was 5 minutes late today.
Yeah, I was actually down
on the
TikTok.
toilet.
Scrolling through TikTok. No,
5 minutes is
it's
not
a funny
enough,
balance. Yeah, it's a funny balance. There's like some nights where I can't sleep, and I'm like, I'm just gonna scroll through TikTok. And
but even that's
probably
that's
not
even
helpful.
worse. That's worse because now you're getting blue light. Like
Can
iPhone
you see
says
these
it.
dark circles around my eyes.
Like the iPhone says it turned on night shift, but that shit's still putting out blue light. You ain't going to sleep.
So is it okay if I wear my glasses?
Oh yeah, your blue
light
blockers.
Glasses. Yeah, you should be fine.
Do that.
Watch as much TikTok as you want, Titus.
Hell no. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful app, and that's why Instagram and YouTube are coming out with competitors.
Dude, I think Instagram needs to restructure the way that they do the front of their app. They need to put discovery first.
They're launching in 3 countries. In fact, they already launched. I think it's called Instagram Reels, where it's discovery page first, 1 minute clips with all editing capabilities.
Was it a separate app?
No, same app.
Okay.
In this function, just like they added IGTV to Instagram. Same thing. So they're like gonna go head to head because they have to.
Yeah, I remember when stories were in beta with Instagram, and people were like, "Why don't we have stories? When are we doing this and that?" I'm like, "This is gonna become the next big thing." Like
Snapchat.
The micro form of content, I honestly believe is here to stay. Like, there's no going backwards. Ever since like Vine came out, people were like, "Is micro content a thing?" And I was even asking that question. But as time came on, moved forward, I think micro content is just a really great way of helping people communicate even clearer, get their ideas across faster. But that's hard for a lot of people to do, right? Video alone is hard for people to do, but I think TikTok has lowered the barrier of entry in terms of like quality, right? Especially during quarantine, everybody's like not having these glam cameras or anything like that. It's like, if you've got an iPhone, you have what you need. You just need a clear message, I think.
Well, I use stories in a completely different way than I think a lot of people do. Like for me, like, cause I run kind of an artsy fartsy page. So like my Instagram itself is kind of a portfolio, but my stories are my personality, because on my Instagram, I don't show my face at all. And well, okay, I'll take that back. I show my face very rarely. And usually it's a photo that I took of myself in a mirror, or if it's like a video where I video myself for something, I'll take a screen grab out of that. But like, you don't get to meet me, you just get to meet my environment most of the time. And so for stories, it's a way to you to meet my personality. And that, yeah. And so I don't know if I necessarily see a lot of people using it in that fashion.
I'd say, stories for me are probably just like posting a lot of, if you've seen any of my posts, it's a way more like inspirational quotes or just Enneagram nerd stuff. It's like, I'm a 5 and I really like this. And if you want to help me out as a 5, this is how, and stuff like that. Or, that's how I message a lot of people. My time spent on Instagram is like basically scrolling through a lot of inspirational stuff and then forwarding it to people that, I think could use it. That's just my user behavior. I know other people are way more like into photography and stuff like that, but I am not a photographer in the slightest. For me, I think the inspiration or a tip or some kind of insight, that's what I use that platform for.
Yeah.
See, I use it to document my life. Like my stories is to show people what I'm doing throughout the day, if I choose to post. But
Yeah.
I don't use that for any other platform. You know, it's like for me, Instagram stories has this use for me. Like, let people know this is what I'm doing for the day. Yeah, occasional inspirational posts. I'll repost somebody's video from time to time. But, you know, to circle back to TikTok, like their micro content is completely different than what you would do in the stories. Because let's say you have 1 minute on TikTok, but you really have a second and a half because you don't know your audience. They don't care what you're eating for dinner.
Yeah. 90% of the people watching your video are not, you know, following you, don't know who you are. They're meeting you for the first time, which is, you know, you've got those first couple seconds and that's it, right?
That's it.
So how do you keep people? I mean, Titus, what have you seen that's working, you know, for you when you post on TikTok? What's been some of the most effective ways of keeping people engaged within those first few critical seconds?
And I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. I have a couple of like inspirational posts with like super scenic, beautiful Hawaii shots. And I do a duet on a bunch of cups going around with different colored water, like a big domino chain. Awesome. Tons of views.
How many followers do you have?
Like 200.
200? Okay.
Yeah.
That's more than I got.
Yeah, Wes, you cornered away the Instagram sphere of influence. So one platform per person.
I can't manage like 10 different platforms. What I'll do is when I hear a new platform comes out, I'll at least go and grab the name and then.
Yeah, because you don't want that one
that
you don't want that ever happening ever again.
No, but I actually didn't get it for TikTok either, unfortunately.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
Dang Westifer clone.
Well, I just kept seeing like the TikTok ads, and I was like, "What the hell is this? I'm not ever gonna get this." And eventually, it took off, and I got left behind.
I feel like it was there was this kid named Alex that he posted about TikTok, and he was like, "I'm getting like 4 times the traction with way less effort than I do on my Instagram." He's like, "I'm just gonna spend all of my time there." And when he said that, I was like,
"Are you talking about that meme account guy?"
Yeah, he's a meme account. And I was like, shoot, I need to pay way more attention to this if that's what's happening. Because it really, marketing and advertising is a game of eyeballs, right? And so where people are spending their time. And, you know, I think the misnomer about TikTok is that it's, you know, because videos are so short there, what's the value in being on it? You know, do people really stick around and listen? Can you really impact people in such a short time? The questions I hear often. But when you look at it, people are spending several hours of their day on a single app that it's superseded the usage of people using Facebook. And it's, you know, and it's micro content. It keeps you engaged. And so, you know, if I were an advertiser and I had a couple, you know, $1,000 to, you know, to blow on a platform, I think TikTok would be one of those ones easily, because I know that there's going to be people there versus, you know, other ones where it's kind of like a, you know, hit and miss kind of deal.
Sorry, we completely hijacked you, Titus, and telling us about your TikTok.
No, it's okay.
Rabbit trails, man.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of a podcast, is we can go in 6,000 different directions.
But I feel like you were saying important stuff, and I want to validate you.
Okay. I had one successful video. It's at like maybe 16K right now. It was like a video magic. Yeah, it was like an editing magic video, and it said parenting hack Hawaii style. So
is that juice one?
Yeah, the juice one. It's killing it.
And what's crazy is
it continues to grow. Like the growth of your exposure through TikTok doesn't end in like a 24, 48-hour cycle like Instagram and Facebook does.
Right. And that's one of the things I've explained to some of my clients when they're talking about like social media. They're like, what social media should I be on? And I said, you know, a lot of social media. Well, yeah, I mean, all of them is a good answer. But I think in terms of where you're really going to be spending your energy, I would spend it on the ones where things grow. Like many social media channels are built of like a decay over time. Like people won't encounter it, you know, as much. over a certain time window, right? Or 24 hours if content only stays alive on certain platforms like that. With TikTok, and I would throw Pinterest on the table for this too, and YouTube as well. All of those channels are built for growth over time, rather than decay over time. And so I think it's an incredible opportunity. And like what Titus, what you're seeing with your video, is what I think a lot of brands could expect if they spend some of their intention there.
Yeah, I agree. So I posted this video on the 9th. Today is the 21st. I'm probably getting like 300 to 400 views a day.
So like 12 days ago. Wow.
Yeah, that's the power of TikTok and their algorithm, which is genius, right? Because like, hey, this is dopamine kicks, right? Like, look, I put time into this, I'm getting rewarded. And I continually get this dopamine kick every time I open up my phone and see, oh, I've got another 20 likes on a video I posted 10 days ago. People must love me.
Don't get me started on the whole mental. Oh man,
we'll save mental health and social media
mental health
to
and social
another one.
media.
I think we've hinted at the fact that probably a little too much time is spent on it, but the ramifications of tying your significance to a like hit is that can be interesting.
It's real.
But you can see,
I'm cognizant of it. There are so many people out there that aren't.
Yeah.
So
no, and you wonder why
I like it.
Yeah, there's so much, more depression now, and I wouldn't say because it hadn't gone diagnosed before. I know. I mean, it's worth mentioning just because we've gotten on that.
Use the word, bro. That was you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Anxiety,
I'll say
this.
Since the whole George Floyd thing happened, this is the first week. Well, I'm finally back into like a normal state of mind.
Wow.
Like it's taken that long just because I got caught up in the hypeness of all the George Floyd crap and all the social media stuff and trying my best to be a keyboard activist, social warrior, social justice warrior. I'm finally like kind of coming back down, and I'm avoiding social media at the moment while I kind of get
your bearings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because it's like, in the light of injustice and stuff, it brings up all of those very strong emotions and stuff. So what do you do with that? Like how can you be living out your best and be cognizant of both, if you're operating out of your best or your higher higher cognition and everything like that, you're more healthier self, how much more are you able to serve against things like injustice? And so that was something I'd been thinking about recently. Tony Robbins posted something about, how does your emotional response in light of injustice, affect you? And what if those things that are said against you can actually be considered a gift, to be able to see those setbacks or emotional responses and be able to change them, be able to have different responses. I thought that was really fascinating. I saw that earlier this morning. But it brought me thinking about, the things that have happened most recently. It's like in light of really some of these dire circumstances or really unearthing things that just haven't been spoken about for the longest of time. How do we live out of our best parts of humanity and at the same time combat this thing? And so I'm interested in exploring that more. I might dive a little bit deeper in his stuff, but
we should save that for an episode on its own for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Mental health and social media. Yeah, that's like probably a series.
Social justice and social media. Yeah, let's keep Wes, if you can keep a list, we will attack those. That would be that'd be really neat.
Let's table that one.
Yeah.
I guess the last question you asked, Brian, was where customers or users are spending their attention and why TikTok is so important. So shockingly, I've spent a lot of time on the platform in the last 3 weeks. And outside of a couple of little e-commerce like products, I've only been seeing major brands. I know they just recently opened up their ad platform,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I'm only seeing big boys like
Mm-hmm.
HBO Max and
Mm-hmm.
Samsung and Pepsi,
I even saw Apple on there once at one point.
Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that is because there is a certain, I think, threshold for ad spend that you have to be doing. So it lends a little bit more towards larger advertisers, which makes sense in their model. But I do think that they're probably going to pare it down to more like solopreneurs and stuff over time, because they just released the platform for solopreneurs to basically
Right.
use the ad platform. I don't know if there's what the ad spending limits are on that.
Well,
My
they were
brain
doing
tells.
go ahead.
I was going to say, my brain tells me that the way that TikTok works is, should you even actually spend money on ads there?
I
I know.
think
Oh, hold on. Let me finish my thought. Like,
Mhm.
I know that, yes, you'll get in front of a lot more people. But at the
Mhm.
same time, if you're a company that's putting out really good content, I mean, if you're, making videos where your phone pours juice into a cup and you get 16,000 views, like, and that costs you nothing but an hour of time and
Mhm.
maybe 2 hours with editing. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I agree with you, Wes. I think it's more beneficial for a brand to create educational or entertaining videos that really show their product or service in action or dispel myths about it or anything like that. And that'll probably do better for their brand, just shooting a couple of those and having that on their channel, than probably advertising
I mean,
directly over it.
let's think about it this way. Like really good marketing, really good branding is branding that makes me think of that product when I'm not anywhere near it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, like Apple, like I cannot be anywhere near electronics. I'm thinking something Apple for no reason. Like us,
Yeah.
oh, I saw, or I see like someone walk down the street, they got white AirPods in, Apple. Like,
Mm-hmm. Well, there's
you know,
several, quite a few decades of
oh,
work
right,
into
right.
that brand and
That's,
millions of
but
dollars.
absolutely, but that's the same thing though. But I mean, Apple used to, even Starbucks, they used to not do ads until in the
Yeah.
last decade.
Yeah.
Starbucks didn't do advertising until the last decade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once was Schultz or whatever. I
Howard
don't know.
Schultz.
Howard
Yeah.
Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
Did he leave and come back? I can't remember. But anyway,
I think he
in the
left
last,
recently. Mm-hmm.
yeah, in the last decade, is when they actually started doing ads, and I think that's more so
Mm-hmm.
because they started doing like in-store products. Like you can go to a grocery store and buy something,
Mm-hmm.
like bottled frappuccino or something. But like, I don't know. I think really good marketing makes me think of a product when I'm not anywhere near it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's funny. When I think about coffee, I don't ever think about Starbucks.
Oh, me neither. I hate Starbucks.
Hey, Starbucks, you want to sponsor this?
I mean, when I do go to Seattle, I want to go there just because it's history, and I'll give Starbucks credit where it's due. If it wasn't for Starbucks, we would not have little craft coffee companies all around.
It's true.
Oh,
America.
yeah,
It's true.
they made coffee popular.
Well, they brought espresso over
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
before it was just, just
It's a fancy thing. Yeah.
yeah. They found craft coffee, like say, hey, Starbucks, but Starbucks founded craft coffee in America.
Hmm.
I was a barista for 4 years. Not at Starbucks, but I was at Starbucks for like 2 or 3. But
Wes, from your perspective, working as a barista for a long time, both in Starbucks and craft coffee shops and stuff, what would you say is the most effective form of advertising for a coffee shop?
well, I would say the influencer model right now. Like,
And what is that? Break that down.
I would say finding brand ambassadors. Like, take for instance Arvo. Arvo is a local coffee company here in Hawaii. They are probably one of the biggest American coffee shops in Japan. They may have a store in Japan now. I'm not sure, but they did it for a long time, and they were one of the #1 stops for Japanese tourists. And it got that way because of social media. Obviously, the owners are like half Japanese, I believe. So they kind of tap into that market, but they've got their following off of social media entirely off of posting, not paid ads. Like I've never seen a paid Arvo ad. They don't pay for advertising. They don't have to. They understand social media, and their personal accounts or have high followings, high engagement. So it's easy for them to get, their personal followers to hop on board to the coffee shop, and they do things very aesthetic well, and they follow the trends. Like if you can keep your coffee company on trend, like you might stand out.
How would you see like
I was going to say, but craft coffee is a very local experience, right? So the craft coffee here in Hawaii is not the same thing you're going to get like in San Francisco.
Right. Yeah. And that's
there's
kind
a
of
lot of competition there.
Novelty,
and I think
right?
it's more, yeah, but you're not going to get someone from Manhattan going all the way to Brooklyn for coffee. So coffee is a weird thing.
How would you see a coffee company or local craft coffee business using a platform like TikTok?
Well, you're asking the wrong person. Maybe you should ask Titus that. I literally posted 3 videos and I was like, this isn't for me.
Well, like, I asked more so because you identify a couple things, right? You identified being able to follow trends, posting some quality kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure Arvo's on TikTok if you look for him. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Okay. Titus, any ideas there how a local coffee shop can take advantage of the virality of TikTok for their brand?
Instead of spending money on ads and hiring a video production company to do everything, I would sponsor local influencers to post. That's what Bang is doing right now. Red Bull got into extreme sports that way. Like Bang is killing it. They are doing an outstanding job in a very hard market to penetrate because there's thousands of energy drinks out there, but they're doing that in all 50 states. They're paying top influencers to create posts, and not only on TikTok, I mean Instagram too, but someone who has, let's just say, 100,000 followers and consistently creates content like 1 to 2 posts a day, you're going to get way more eyeballs on your product that way than almost any other platform right now.
Yeah.
And that's how I would use TikTok.
Well, even with the coffee shop too, you could be like, you could trade a post for a coffee. Like there's an app on the iPhone that I've had for like 7 years. I don't really ever use it because it's not really valid in Hawaii. There's not a lot of companies that know about it. But basically a company can put out on, it's called Popular Pays, right? So I think they go by Pop Pays now. There's Popular Pays, and me as a company, I can put on there like, okay, I will trade you, I'll give you $10 worth of product in my coffee shop, which, is like a coffee and a sandwich. If you put, if you put a post on your story or you put a post on your Instagram. So that's going to invite you to come here. You're going to post it. Those 10,000, 20,000 followers you have, 10 of them might be coming to Hawaii next week. This is pre-COVID. And it's like, oh yeah, my favorite influencer came down to Hawaii and got coffee at this awesome looking coffee shop. We have to hit that place. Like, and that kind of works. That kind of stuff works. Like, so I can see TikTok being useful in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, with
just
TikTok,
mentioned
I would let the creator create, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of TikTok is it's not just like this information blast. It's not like, look at me. It's fun, creative videos.
Yeah. And you're selling a $5 product. You're not selling a $10,000 camera, right? So you have to kind of work within that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just impressions. You can pay someone $500 to post 5 TikToks for you, right? And if you get 100,000 views, you just got 100,000 views for $500. Like that's where the payoff is.
I'm not even getting that I'm not even getting that with the $2,000 budget on the ad client I have right now. I mean, that's a pretty low budget, but it's like you're not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah. Wes, you brought up something interesting, which was, during this time with Hawaii quarantined and stuff. I know we've only got a couple more minutes before you got a jet. What would you say from your perspective, how can a brand, especially who relies, whether it's a coffee shop or, hotel or something like that, how, from your perspective, how can a brand survive this time when tourism is, completely cut off?
Well, that depends. Are they relying on tourism or are they relying on locals?
Well,
That
I
makes
think
a big
that's,
difference.
yeah, I think that's one of the big questions, right? So maybe it's a switch in the model from a marketing kind of perspective, or for, putting your marketing hat on. What would you advise a company to do, let's say, that has relied 100% on mainland tourists during this time? Because it doesn't look like there's any any reopening in sight right now. It's July right now. We just bumped out another month or so of quarantine. And
well, I can't confidently say that marketing is 100% the switch. Obviously, in Hawaii, we need to diversify our economy and not make it reliant on tourism. So first, I would say find a way to solve the business problem of how do I serve my locals when I'm not getting tourists. And then secondly, Hawaii is a beautiful place. Hawaii has a lot of beautiful people. There's a lot of incredible influencers here. And a lot of Hawaii is very close knit and a kind of a tight place where we follow local influencers, most of us, right? So I would use local influencers to attract the local audience to the new product that I've switched around. So like, I don't know, how do you encourage local people to come to a surfboard rental shop in Waikiki to like,
right?
Because there's actually, despite what you might believe about Hawaii, there's a whole crap ton of people out here that don't surf. So turning that around
for the first time, right?
Especially now that the water, Waikiki's probably not nearly as crowded as it was. I don't know. I hate Waikiki. I don't go there. But I'm pretty sure without the tourists, there's open waters, and you're stuck at home all day. But the other safe place that you can be is at the beach, right? So if I'm tired of being at home, like I can go rent a board on the beach and go out and surf in Waikiki. Less crowded.
You know what I really loved recently? Leather Apron. It's a local bar out here, local craft bar. They created drink kits recently.
Oh yeah,
so you can make your own cocktails and stuff. They give you everything you need, including like all the sliced oranges and stuff. But they're selling these kits, because they're not able to really necessarily open to the public, which I thought was a brilliant pivot during the time. Like, a way for them to play the guide to people who still want awesome drinks and empower them to start, making.
And not only that, it doesn't have to stop when COVID stops. They can carry that on, and that
Liquor Commission is going to stop it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Commission open that up.
But hey, COVID, you might get some legislation that might allow that to happen, or they might end up with a product that goes into Foodland, right, or Safeway or something like that, with like freeze dried, like I don't know. Like
I think circumstances like this allow for a business, or really cultivate a way for a business to come up with some really innovative stuff, right? That can actually last them beyond this. They can have them really thinking about business in a new way. Massively shift their business to add value to their customers and meet needs maybe that they weren't before.
And the whole necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but it is true. It's absolutely true. And I think during this time, rather than businesses going like, well, we're sunk, and deciding not to change, but really to lean into that change and innovate and think differently and serve. Because they're still serving the same people. They could still serve the same people. It's just, I think we can get kind of set in our ways in a sense, but you cannot survive being set in your ways,
For sure. And if you got a new product and you need some ads, you can call me or Titus.
That's right. We got some sales funnels. We got some advertising experts. Got what you need.
Yep.